Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the All About the Experiences Living Without Limits podcast. Here it is. We have literally made it to the end of the first week of 2021. And let me tell you, it has not been without its challenges, unfortunately. But fortunately, we have all about the experiences. And I have to honestly say, last week's guest, Roderick Rod McLean of Rod Speaks, brought so much joy and positivity on what he's doing in the Chicago community. He is definitely needed. His service to the community, his service as a police officer, his service in just uplifting those around him has been remarkable. I encourage and applaud him for everything that he's done. I look forward to having him back to the podcast when his book is released. But if you didn't get an opportunity to check out that episode of All About the Experiences, you will definitely not want to miss it. He was so inspirational and it's definitely needed. As we all know, this week has been incredible when we think about the political unrest that is currently plaguing our country. And for a lot of us, it's something that we've come, unfortunately, to know and understand. Being a person of color living in the United States, a lot of the incidences that we've seen in this past week have unfortunately been commonplace. And everyone is kind of in an uproar, depending on what side you're on the things that they've seen and how things were being handled. And honestly, I feel like this is a perfect time to kind of look at the different injustices that are plaguing our country and how people who look different, who sound different, who are from different backgrounds, how they're treated versus others. And so bringing that to the forefront, unfortunately, it's on display for the whole world to see. But definitely, I think about my children and what their future looks like because of this political unrest. And my hope is that things will manifest themselves in a way that where number 45 will exit swiftly and we can start anew as we are in a new year. And my hope is that through my growth in this podcast, in my platform, and even in my brand, that, I will take what I've been blessed with and the sponsorships and the viewership and the listenership and really expand upon that and use this platform as an opportunity to bring not only highlights on experiences and the people who I deem just incredible with their experiences and their positivity to the platform, but also to use this platform as an opportunity to shed light on some things that are plaguing our country. And that not just from a negative standpoint, but hopefully to spawn conversation so that we can move forward in finding viable solutions to a lot of these horrible, horrible things that are happening in our country. So, with that being said, I'll transition a little bit to say that, 2020 was a hell of a year for us all. There's no doubt about it. You know, aside from the obvious, dealing with the pandemic and the political and racial unrest, and definitely a lot of social issues that plagued us, there were a lot of great things that came out of it. I have to say, you recognize the value in not only who you are, but your family and your friends when you're cut off from what you know and love, taking a trip to the grocery store. Some of us don't like grocery shopping, but we crave to be able to do that because those key things that we sometimes we don't look forward to were taken away and we didn't have access to. I can remember after work meeting up with friends or coworkers to have a happy hour. That took on a new meaning. Happy hours became Zooms where you were having your drink and connecting and still being able to communicate, but obviously not in person. The other thing is just recognizing that in the hustle and bustle of our lives and how we move, this pandemic has caused us to take pause, to sit down, and to really kind of reevaluate how you move in the world and take account of those relationships that you have around you that maybe you haven't put a lot of energy into, or things have kind of gone by the wayside, but it gave you the opportunity to really foster communication with your loved ones, even with your coworkers. I mean, when you're not face to face, you have to use other mediums to communicate, whether it was through Zoom or Teams or FaceTime or however it was. You realize that communication became even more critical. And trust me, it's continuing. And now that we see that there are new strands, even though we have a vaccine in place, and there's controversy around that, it's controversy around everything. But, the one thing that I can take from all of this is that the people that I value the most, it made me stop. It made me recognize that you can really forge greater conversations and learn more about each other. Sometimes it was a little tense and a bit much, but I think this is also, I can speak from my own experience. It's taught me a greater sense of patience. It's made me really wholeheartedly embrace relationships. It's made me look at relationships that may have fallen by the wayside or may not have been in a great place. It made me realize, you want to move forward with making sure that you're making connections with people. You don't have to agree. Little Lord knows there's a lot going on in the world that, we could bicker back and forth about. But sometimes it's okay to agree to disagree and move on amicably. I hope I said that correctly. And just recognize that each person brings their own set of pride, accomplishments, and, special gifts, and they're to be celebrated. And whether you agree with someone or not, celebrate that person for what they do bring to the table. Imagine if we were all the same. This would be a boring place. And I don't know about you, but I'm not into boring, not at all. The other thing is that as we progress and we're kind of still in this limbo where we don't know what's happening, some of us, like myself, have started, traveling. And even though I've been travel shamed, and I've put that out as, and someone, when I say that, they'll know exactly who I'm talking to. But, it's important for you to share your experiences so that it helps build confidence, not only in the travel and hospitality industry, but just going, to the park or going to grocery shop or whatever it is. Things can still be done. We just do them differently. We do them safely. We obviously mask our, well, with the exception of right now, because I'm in the comfort of my own home recording this, but mask will be forever a part of our lives. It's okay, because I'm all into the fashion. So I feel like if I can coordinate my mask with my outfit, you got to look at the brighter side of things. And obviously, not everything is going to be peaches and cream all the time, but for the things that we can shed a positive light on, why not? We have too many other things that are out here that are so negative. And my hope is that we will continue to progress in a positive direction towards seeing what our new normal is. But out of respect for others and also for your own health, wear your mask, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, wear gloves. I have a really good friend of mine who, this is long before this pandemic came along, she would put on gloves when she would go to the gas station to pump gas, mainly because she didn't want gas on her hand. But she says, you know what, Cheryl, you don't know who touches that stuff. She knows who she is. So with that being said, take those necessary precautions. If you're in the store and you see some mask and you actually have some additional monies that you can expend, I have to tell you, I have family members, and one in particular, my little sister, Megan and I want to give a shout out to, because she is one of those frontline nurses that's out there, and she's making a difference. And sometimes it's disheartening to know that there's not enough PPE to go around for our first responders and for our folks that are on the front line. And so if you're in a store and you have, some extra money that you can purchase some PPE, do that and drop it off. A little bit in those kind of gestures go a long way. If you know that you can purchase or sponsor a lunch or a dinner for our frontline folks that are making things happen so that we can still have some semblance of normalcy and still feed our families and, have a hot meal if you don't feel like cooking. Our DoorDash staff, whenever I order DoorDash, I'll have like a little PPE kit that has, a small hand sanitizer, gloves, and mask. They're out here risking their lives so that we can still have those, those things that we enjoy. When you don't want to cook, you can have a hot meal be brought to you. Think about those people. Also, think about the people who may not have a home, who you may pass by when you're exiting the freeway, and you look over and, who am I to judge? Maybe they're out there just hustling, but maybe they're truly hard on their luck and they need something. It doesn't hurt to give a little. It doesn't hurt to try to brighten someone's day. If you have, those Christmas socks that you don't quite like and you didn't want to tell, when they were gifted to you, maybe hand those out the window and give someone something warm to put on their feet. There's so many things that we can do to make a difference, and it doesn't require a lot. It seriously doesn't require a lot to make a difference in someone's life. Sometimes you can walk by someone and simply give them a smile, and it could definitely change the trajectory of their day. You don't know what they may have been hit with. And I think more than anything, during this time that we've had during this quarantine period, it's given me an opportunity to really think about the little things. The little things truly mean a lot. And I think the more that we think outside of our own comfort of our space and our own boxes and think about others and put others ahead, I always close my show with take care of each other, but more importantly, take care of yourself. And I sincerely mean that. When you pay it forward and you take care of someone, regardless of what that is, whatever the gesture is, or the kind word, or the smile, or the giving of yourself, or finances, whatever it is, it makes a difference in their life. And hopefully, when that difference comes about, they can pay it forward. And we have to get more in that mindset of paying it forward. One of my really good friends, he's actually been on this show, DJ I Am Noel. He goes, what does it cost to be kind? Be kind to each other. And I said that during the Thanksgiving podcast and when we talked about gratitude. And we just need a lot more of that. At the end of the day, no matter what you look like on the outside, we're all human. We all have the same organs inside. If you stab me, we bleed, right? So let's treat each other like you would treat anybody in your family. And I'm hoping that's good. But I'm just saying, be kind. That's a wonderful experience that you can pass along to someone, just simply to be kind. The other thing is, I sit here and I think about what this world is going to look like as we continue to progress outside of this. And I mean, in this last week or so, we heard that there's a new strand that's coming, or it has landed. It's definitely landed here in San Diego County. So with that being said, we recognize that all of the things that we have come to know during this quarantine period is that it will continue. It will continue. So we have to move differently. And in moving differently, being courteous and mindful of how we move through this world. will make a difference, not only from a health standpoint, because Lord knows health is wealth. So we definitely want to, check that box. Yes, we need to move differently when it comes to our health, but also our mindset. We have to move in a different realm when it comes to our mindset. I'm the first to say that yes, I try to look at the glass as half full. There are days that it seems pretty empty, not even half empty, but pretty empty. So I have to, in those moments, not only pour into myself, but pull from those different positive experiences that I have and recognize that this is a bump in the road. This is something that, yes, it's very serious and, it may be hampering my movement forward, but that movement forward, it starts up here. So when you make an active decision to change your mindset, trust me, you'll figure a way to get over that hump, go around that hump, or build something that will take you to a higher plane. And it's important for us to be able to do that. And especially when I think about the young people that are out here that are watching us, they're watching how we move and how we handle situations. This has been a wonderful time for open dialogue in my home. I have a 16-year-old and a 24-year-old. And, it's interesting, even between the two of them, their perspectives are vastly different. But I learn from them and they learn from me. And we have to have that open mindset to realize that our children, they're smart beings. They're out here and they're able to view things from a different perspective. But we're also able to provide that alternative perspective from theirs. And perhaps we can sit down at the table and come up with viable solutions that work for everyone. And in a perfect world, a lot of the things that are plaguing us right now would no longer exist, but we all know there is nothing that's perfect. But we can be perfectly imperfect and come up with solutions and find ways to support each other, to respect each other, to love each other. And ultimately, it takes care of each other. Let's continue that, paying that forward. I'm really looking forward to this new year, not just because it represents new opportunities for us to try new things, have new experiences, but it's also an opportunity for us to move forward collectively to make this world a better place. And we do that by sharing. And so my platform is all about sharing, and I look forward to having more amazing people. I am like blessed. I don't know if you've been from episode 1 to now we're at episode 24, but I've had some pretty incredible people that have blessed this platform and provided true insights on how they're bringing positivity through their experiences to the table, but they have also shared their adversity that they've had. They've shared how they've been, a lot of my guests have been, frontliners that are out there and they see kind of the unrest that's going on and how it's being handled. But also that there is a positive outcome that can come from just, again, being kind, being willing to listen to someone. I know sometimes when I'm in those moods, if you will, the one thing that I can honestly say that it makes me feel connected and it makes me feel like I can transition into a more positive space is when I'm able to talk to someone and to get those negative feelings out and, hear someone give me some feedback on how I can handle things. We can't bear this alone. Life is not meant to walk through alone. It wouldn't be so many variations of ourselves out here if life was meant to just be a solo walk. Think about that. Think about how you can contribute to someone else's experience. Think about if someone's experience that you walk in is not positive and it's negative, but you can bring a positive light to it. I think about some of the most difficult times in my life and the people who have rallied around me to support me and encourage me, much like you all do when you tune in weekly. My podcast is not currently monetized or anything like that, but what encourages me to want to keep coming back every week and share the experiences that not only that I have with our guests, but that they're sharing their experiences and how they're reaching people. I mean, literally, we have last week's guest, Rod, has connected me with a plethora of people, not just in his area where he's from in Chicago, but all over the United States. So I'm really feeling energized and encouraged by who's going to be coming to this platform. The other thing I want to say is I want to hear from you all. If you want to see people that you know and you have a connection to come on this platform and share their story because you know that they have an amazing story that can inspire others, please connect me with them. If you have a subject matter that you would like to see brought to the forefront and use my platform for that, please email me, Cheryl at allabouttheexperiences.com. I am open. I'm here to listen. I'm here to use this platform for my intended purpose is for it to be a positive place, even when we're talking about really difficult issues. I want this to be a place that people can realize that no matter what the experience is, you can learn something new. You can hear about someone else's walk. You can be encouraged and you can inspire. Because my hope is that when you listen or you watch, you'll share this. You'll say, hey, have you checked out All About the Experiences, Living Without Limits? Guess who was on this week? And it can start dialogue. I think a lot of times in this world, when we're dealing with difficult issues, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to have difficult conversations. But when you can have a difficult conversation and you know that you have someone that can bring a positive outcome, who can spawn thought that, you know what, maybe we're looking at this from the wrong point of view, or maybe we can change that point of view or offer a different perspective. We just have to be open. And like DJ I Am Noel said, we have to be kind. Much like Dr. Pamela Hardy Shepherd said, we have to lift as we climb. And much like I'm telling you, I am open to have an open dialogue with anybody that can bring positivity to this platform. And even if we're talking about difficult subject matter, let's talk about it. Let's get the conversation started. Let's come up with solutions. If nothing else, this pandemic has taught me is to be active. And even though we have been quarantined and we've been taken out of our normal routines, there is always another opportunity and there's always a solution. There's always a solution. This week it's going to be a little bit short. I'm excited because I'm prepping for next week, and I'm really excited about all of the possibilities to come with not only guests, but opportunities to shed light on, issues and positivity. If you have something that's going on in your community, no matter where it is, because, we are international now. We are all over the world. People are listening in. And this little old girl was here in San Diego County sharing her experiences with folks. And the people who come and bless this platform, they're sharing their experiences and it's being heard all around the world. With that being said, take a moment to just try to make a difference in one person's life, no matter what that is. If it starts with a smile, start with a smile. If it starts with a kind word, start with that. But at the end of the day, it's important for us to really dig deep and recognize that we're all here together and we need to move forward in a positive manner and support each other, be kind to each other, wear our mask, wash our hands, and look for solutions that will help us not only have, definitely better communities that are right in our immediate community, but outwardly, globally. It's one love. So with that being said, for those people that are in your bubble, hug them tighter. And those people that you're reaching out to through means of Zoom or social media, just let them know that you care. We're all quarantined. You don't know what people are going through. And sometimes when you hear a kind word from someone, or just the fact that someone cares about you and that they're wondering how you're doing, it can lift someone's spirits. Continue to tune in every week, All About the Experiences. Any updates, come to allabouttheexperiences.com. Follow on all of the social media platforms by name, All About the Experiences. And I'm going to start something new. I want to announce it right now. And hopefully you all have stayed tuned in to hear this, but I'm going to start doing some Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, just so that we can have definitely a more interactive experience. And that's not just with me, but that's also with my guests that are coming on. And I look forward to bringing you that. I'm learning all the technology and how to do this. So definitely I will be announcing that when we'll have some of those lives. But I look forward to bringing new ways to communicate and interact, because it looks like we'll be quarantined for a bit longer. But don't let that discourage you from still reaching out to others and getting outside of your bubble. Do it safely, wear your PPE, but just know that in those times that there are experiences to be had. So continue to take care of each other, but again, more importantly, take care of yourself.